In this video, we'll show you how to install RAM into your computer. We'll not go into every detail about RAM and just cover the basics. First, you want to make sure the RAM you're installing is supported. The best way is to check the support page for a RAM that has been tested with your motherboard by the manufacturer, sometimes called a qualified vendor list, or as seen here, memory support list. On this support page, they show the ones that have been tested. Now, this doesn't mean that other RAM will not work, since they can't test everything, but if you get one of the ones listed here, it should work without issues. If you decide to buy RAM that is not on the list, you will need to figure out what type of RAM, DDR5, DDR4, or otherwise. You want to make sure to get the proper speed for your motherboard. If you check the support page or manual, you can find the supported speeds, and you want to make sure you don't get anything faster than what your motherboard supports. You also want to check the maximum size, which can also be found in the same place. If your motherboard only supports 8 gigabytes per slot, you don't want to be trying to put a 16 in there. It is also recommended to use the same RAM if possible for best performance. Once you have your new RAM, it is time to install it. When installing RAM, make sure to power off and unplug your computer. If you are upgrading, you'll want to remove the RAM currently installed. All that is required is to push back the tabs holding the RAM in place and remove them as shown here. Now get your new RAM and remove it from the package. You will notice the RAM can only fit in one direction since each of the two slots are different lengths, as shown here. If you are installing 4 RAM modules and your board has 4 slots, then you will just install them all and not need to worry about which slots to install them into. But if you are only installing 2 and your motherboard has 4 slots, you want to make sure to install them in the correct slots to take advantage of the dual channel and the best performance. Sometimes you can find this directly on the motherboard, as you can see here, or you can check the manual. On ours and many of these days, you'll see that they are listed as A1, A2, B1, and B2. On newer boards, it is usually recommended by manufacturers to install an A2 and B2 if only using 2 RAM modules, but double check the manual. As you can see in the chart here, ours will go in A2 and B2 since we are only using 2. Keep in mind that you can install them in any slot you want, but you may not get the maximum performance. If you're only installing 1 RAM module, you'll want to double check the manual to find out if there's a specific slot that is best to use. As ours shows here at the bottom of the screen, to use A2 or B2. Once you have determined which slots you're going to use, you'll push back the clips on each end of the slots that you'll be using, as shown here. Then insert the RAM in the correct direction and give it a push down with a little bit of pressure until you hear it click. Remember, there's only one direction these will fit. If with a little bit of pressure it does not go in, make sure you have the RAM face in the correct direction. It should not take a lot of pressure to insert them, but it will take some. Make sure it is completely seated into the slot and do the same with the rest of the RAM. If you hear the clicking sound and also see both clips close in on the RAM, then it should be inserted correctly. You should now be all set to boot up your system once everything is installed and make sure everything is working. Then, if desired, you can enable XMP or adjust your memory in the BIOS. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe and like if you found this video helpful.